Alright guys, I've just got a quick video where I'm going to show you how I've been making my currency over the last couple of days and the kind of the mechanics I've been utilizing. So the first mechanic that I want to show you is the ritual mechanic. Now on the tree, there is a few points that really help us in making profit. And these ones mainly are he approaches and ominous portents. So the ominous portents gives you a 50% increased chance to find omens, and the he approaches gives you a 50% increased chance to contain an audience with a king. Now these two nodes drastically increase the chance. I think it's way more than 50% at actually finding these items. So if I show you the omens, any of these purple ones down here are worth a lot. So something like an omen of whittling, which I've got a few times, is worth 6 divines. But there's also some other omens, like some of these ones are worth even more. So that one's 10. This one is 8. So it's quite a bit of money if you get those. Now I've probably got about 3 of them over the past 5 days of doing this. But the main money maker that you'll get from this is the audience with a king. So if I show you that, you'll see audience with a king. So these, I'll just show you in exalts. They're around 660. And this is primarily how I've been making my money. So I've probably got about 25 of these over the past kind of 5 days or so, which adds up to quite a bit of currency. Now the problem is, getting these points requires you to get the audience of the king and fight the boss to get the points. It doesn't start really getting profitable until you've outlaid that first 4 fights to get the 8 points, which costs you somewhere around 2,300 exalts. So it's quite a bit of an entry point. If you can only afford a couple of points, so 4 points, you could just do that and start with these nodes here. But these other two really help, because this one gives you 4 ritual altars and this one allows you to re-roll more. So that would be a good place to start in terms of the ritual for that one. But it's really, really good at making money. But it's not necessarily the best way of making money. I'm not sure if it's between this or Simulacrum, but I'm about to show you, because you can do these at the same time. So Simulacrum, you get this node here, would you like to see my face? And it says 100% increased stack size of Simulacrum splinters found from non-unique monsters. Now every time you get a Simulacrum splinter in a map, you'll be getting 2 splinters instead of the 1. And I pretty much did this all day yesterday, and I got about maybe 2,500, 3,000 splinters. And every 300 you can make a Simulacrum, and the Simulacrums are worth, I'll just show you, around 300 exalts. So pretty much 1 exalted orb to 1 splinter. So you're making 3,000 exalts from that as well. And these ones are a bit cheaper to run. The problem is with the Simulacrum, they're a bit harder. So they're actually, the fight is pretty difficult. Now most of the kind of end game versions of the build will be able to tolerate it, but some people may struggle with getting it. But these points here are nice to get. And then the mirrors gives more mirrors in the maps, allowing it to actually give you more splinters. Now I'm actually running these simultaneously at the same time, and I just want to show you the trick I'm using to do that. So with our actual maps, if I just go and grab some of these oils, you'll notice that we've had these things called distilled gilts, which you get from Simulacrum. I purchased mine, but you can farm them by running the Simulacrum, the mirrors in the maps. And what you can do is you can put your map in there, and what it does is if you instill it, it makes the area have increased pack size, and it makes it delirious. Now delirious essentially puts delirium on the map. So you don't have to, with your map device, actually have delirium mirrors, so these things here, on the map. You can just hit the ritual ones, and if you use the map device with the delirious, you'll be able to get the splinters and stuff, as well as hitting the rituals. So I'm doubling up on those. So that's the 2 main mechanics that I'm running. So I'll just show you a quick how I quickly craft. So you can put all these in to get these going. Doesn't matter if they're rare or normal or magic. So I normally do a big crafting session where I'll make a ton of these. I will then alch them. If they're normal, I'll augment them up. If I just have 1 magic on it, and then I'll regal, and then I'll make sure they're maxed out on mods. Then after this, I'll hit them with Varlobs, and maybe they'll go to tier 16s, or maybe they'll go down to tier 14s. If they're tier 16s, I'll put them over here, and I'll use these on the boss maps. Otherwise, I'll just put them in here, ready to go for my maps. So I'll quickly show you how I set up my kind of map device and what I do with that. So I'm really focusing on ritual. So when I get to the towers, I'll be using things like this here. So 8 maps in range contain ritual altars. And there is better mods you can get on this, you can get things like increased omen chance, but I'm just kind of getting what I'm running, or if I'm buying them off trade, and then sticking in. I'm trying to get as many rituals as I can so I can just chain them. So that on top of the delirium on the maps basically adds up to getting a lot of currency for me. So I would say I'm probably making at least 50 divines a day, but I am playing quite a bit. So somewhere between 50 and 100 divines a day doing this, but this is like 15 hours plus gameplay. So we could say maybe 5 to 7 divines an hour on average. But you do go through streaks where you don't get anything. Like I played for 9 hours and didn't get any audiences, any omens for that time. I was still consistently getting the splinters, but the omens and the audiences are those big money drops. And I didn't get them for 9 hours, and then I got like 3 within 2 hours. So it can really be like that with the sort of variance. But overall, you do make a ton of money doing it. And it is really nice to do those two mechanics. Now, if you're not comfortable with spending that much money on the ritual and the delirium, or you're finding it hard to get the boss kills down, what I would recommend to do before that is doing the breach. So if I show you the breach over here, you'll see here, you can get these nodes here. The breach boss I think is a little bit easier, and you can get the rising pass, the extra density, and then you can get the additional breaches here, and you can get the additional hands here. So these are the main ones you need. And then you, instead of running ritual on your maps, you can run breach instead. So that is another way to do it. It's a lot cheaper to buy the breach stones. They're like 60 or 70 exalts, and that'll be an entry point into actually getting some more currency. So with the breaches, you just basically pick up the splinters, all the splinters you get, until you get enough of the breach stones. You will get more divine and exalt drops from the breach kind of mechanic, as long as you have a bit of rarity. Whereas the ritual one, I don't think you need as much rarity to worry about it. All I'm running is my magic find shield, so I have about 237 magic find, mainly coming from my shield and my amulet, and that's fine with me for that one. Alright guys, here I've got a tier 16 on a map that's got the ritual as well as a boss, and also obviously on the map I've got the Delirious as well, and I've got a couple of decent quantum rarity on this map as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward the clip up for this map. I may have a little chat about the ritual when we get to it, and then I can show you all the loot at the end of the map as well. Alright guys, as you can see from the video, the loot wasn't too great at the end. We only got a few splinters and a couple of exalts, but it still pays for the cost of the map, and it's probably worth around 25, 30 exalts in just a short amount of time anyway. But you really get most of the actual currency when you hit those bigger items in the omens, and also the audience with the kings. But I promise you, if you do stick at this for a few days, you will make a ton of currency. Anyway, if you would like to have a look at how me doing this live, we'll be streaming directly after this video is uploaded, so you can come check me out on Twitch for that one. And yeah, hopefully this helped you a little bit in terms of how to actually make some currency. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.